I had myself fucking muted like a dumbass. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I was muted. Anyway, welcome back. Here we go. We'll do this shit again. Thanks, T and Sue. It's one of those days, we're trying to prep for the hurricane. We got this storm coming. I had to catch myself. There were 96 seconds in yet. And so we've been having to get a few things ready and watching that. And how the hell are you guys doing? How you doing, T?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Better than you for now. For now. You got to pass, dude. Y'all's got a bunch of shit happening here soon. But I just scraped my driveway. Went down, scraped my driveway, and it never fails. They just upped it to 12 to 14 inches of rain for us because I scraped the damn driveway. I should have just left it alone.
Yeah, sure. You'd been better off to scrape it after the storm.
Scrape it after.
Yeah. Well, we're on the east side of the sea that passes by, so we're going to have tropical force winds, 75 give or take all day. So that's what we're looking forward to. I'm planning on the power going out, and I'm ready for that. So no big deal. But Sue, how the hell you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. We're kind of in the same boat you are. North Carolina kind of over exaggerates everything every time there's tropical storms or hurricanes off the coast. So school's already been canceled for the next 2 days. And up here by Cherokee in the Appalachian Mountains, they're expecting a lot of flooding and some, creeks over running the banks. So everybody's trying to prepare here for a couple of inclement weather days.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a wet one here for a little while. Hopefully it won't be too bad, though. The bad part is, this hurricane's landed where almost the same place the last one landed. So they're kind of getting back-to-back hits, which sucks.
Yeah.
And as you guys can tell tonight, Donnie's not with us. He lives in Tampa. I'm not sure if he's packing and, prepping his house or what he's up to. I've texted him today, but I haven't heard from him. But we might, in a little while, have Emry dive in here. Emry is home and on his way to his studio or a studio so he can jump on board. And so we might have Emry back here in a little while. And if he pops in, then of course we're going to let him tell us what he can of what he went and did. So, because it sucks that the storm is canceled. Troy's Gate this weekend too. That's out. The thing we were going to do up there, that's been canceled. Bunch of Florida politicians can't be seen running for North Carolina as a hurricane's landing. So we all got to stay here.
Sound like a good plan to me.
I thought it was great. I was like, because I'm like, we could go up there, it'll make landfall, and then we'll come back we'll just kind of pass it both ways.
Circle past
it. Yeah. That's a good one. Patrick 7 asks, was Emry in a mall, in a kiosk at an Israeli mall selling pagers?
Yeah, he stole my joke. I said I was gonna beep Emry's pager and see if he shows up or not.
What do you think of that, Sue? As someone from that world, special forces and that kind of thing. What do you think of that operation? All three phases of it, the way it went down.
I am so proud of the Israeli Israeli Defense Forces for actually carrying that out. We back in 2004, 2003, 2004, we had kind of the same idea. We did capture a van in the first Battle of Fallujah, just full of cell phones, and I wanted to turn them all into little bombs, but that idea got nixed completely. And then I was like, well, let's put just a small electronic charge or a small charge in these, and it kept on getting pushed back. Also in that battle, or the first Battle of Fallujah, we captured all kinds of RPG launchers. We had the technology back then to put little tracking devices in the handles. We were going to take a spade bit, drill out the handles, put a tracking device, put wood putty back in, and sell them back into the black market to help facilitate running down these logistical chains that Al Qaeda in Iraq was using, and even that plan got shelved. They were scared. They, being our command, were scared that those launchers would launch RPGs back at our troops. Even when we proved to them that we could take out the firing pin, I got this off a book, matter of fact, but we could take a hacksaw, cut the firing pin in half, put it back together with JB weld, and it wouldn't hit the primer. So we could
It'd be too short. Yeah,
it would be a little bit too short. Wouldn't pierce the primer, or wouldn't dent the primer. So they didn't even like that idea. And I'm not saying it's Special Forces Command that nicks these ideas. Of course, it's got to go 2 echelons higher to get for approval.
right.
And it didn't work for us. But the Israeli forces really showed some forethought there when they're going against Hezbollah. Now remember, Hezbollah is in the north, right? And I was with Emry this weekend. Oh, sorry.
So into the booze again.
Seriously?
Sorry. Hurricane force winds blew my phone over. But anyway, I was with Emry this weekend. We talked at lunch and everything. We did bring up the point that that Hezbollah's. We got to educate the people why Hezbollah is going to be a different kind of fight than Gaza was. Okay, this goes back decades, and both Emry and I are getting tired of. I'm sure you guys are getting tired of it. All of us are old enough to remember when Yasser Arafat was basically kicked out of Israel, and they sent him up to Beirut, right? Well, they made allies of the Iranians shortly after that, right? And it was basically the Iranians funded Hezbollah, and I don't know if you guys have seen the reports and everything, but Beirut and all of southern Lebanon is just chock full of missiles and things like that. Remember, when you talk about the Palestinians, and Emry will explain this, there were no Palestinian people until the UN declared them Palestinians in 1949. All right.
Yeah, that's when Britain wrote Palestine on the map for the first time. Was 1949.
Yeah. And so you still have your Sunnis and in the Muslims. You got 2 sects of Muslims. You got your Sunni and your Shia, right? So Hezbollah are the Shia Muslim, the Shia Palestinians, which is more of a in line with Iran, and so they are very well financed and very well backed up by everything Iranian. And that missile that just went after Tel Aviv, I think it was this morning. This morning in Israel, of course, had been still night for us, but that was a Hezbollah rocket, and it was Iranian made, and they can go hundreds and hundreds of miles. So it's going to be a different kind of fight. A lot of these missiles are in garages and warehouses all over southern Lebanon, and it's going to be quite the war. It's going to expand the war in the Middle East if Israel decides to invade Lebanon.
Yeah, I saw a video earlier today of the Israelis showing a ballistic missile inside of a house. The launcher and everything to stand it up was inside a house. And so these people lived right above it with this ballistic missile right below them, that at any moment Hezbollah could show up and be like, hey, you get the fuck out. We're standing this up and launching it. So they had them in houses, schools, hospitals, the same thing that they did in Gaza, because that's where they learned it from. That's who told them how to hide their stuff, So it's not shocking that they're doing that kind of thing. But I just thought that the operation to hit those pagers, that was just brilliant. And there's one video clip on YouTube that I like to watch. It's someone filming like about a 5-story building next to their building, and all you hear are these small explosions, just pow, 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 going off in this one building. Pow, and guys yelling, and screaming.
Saw the grocery store one. That was pretty entertaining.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude standing next to the apples, and all of a sudden, boom, waste is gone. Oh shit,
The way-
that was horrible.
The way everybody ran from him too, and that one guy behind him was just like, oh. I mean, I feel bad for those individuals as humans, but they brought this upon themselves, and so I don't feel bad at all in that regard.
It was quite ingenious, to say the least.
Oh,
Man.
and then they got their Motorola radios next. Yeah.
Speak of the devil, look at this shiny
There he is.
America. Here we go. We're gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna throw audio out here because I know I got somebody here that wants to say hey. And here we go.
What?
There he goes. Hang on. We got to. Let me do it here. I'll do it. So you
Okay, I'm unmuted.
Great. Oh, wrong way.
How you guys doing?
What's up, brother?
I missed you guys. It's like
Good to see you.
Like a few
Good to see
years.
you.
you too.
There.
I missed
There
you
he
guys.
is.
Hey Mel.
We missed you, brother. We missed you. I'm glad you're home safe.
Me too.
We worried a great deal about you while you were gone.
Yeah, right. You're like, oh God, thank God we got rid of that idiot. I know Sue was saying that.
Wow.
I said that.
It was Sue.
It's okay. I had a great time in summer camp. And
A great fun time at summer camp.
I love summer camp. Everybody loves summer camp.
Everybody
Heck
does
yeah.
love summer camp.
Campfires, making pagers.
Definitely
blowing up
campfires.
pagers and
Lots
shit.
of campfires.
Got to
Yeah,
ride
I'm not
around in
very
Humvees.
technological. I wasn't really in with the cool guys on the whole pager thing. So
I got to put my head
Dang,
Yeah.
they cut you out.
I apologize for being late, but
No,
Carl and I have been running classes all week. We just finished day 5 or 6 of 8. And so we got done and zoomed home as quickly as we could. I'm at Carl's house now. So I apologize for being late and hoarse because I had to scream at people all day
Yeah,
for the last bunch of days. Mainly
Awesome.
Sue was out in class for a couple of days, and so that was really fun. He was out for the weekend.
I am
So straight
Emry's
right
leadership
back into the
challenge.
work.
Yeah, I landed. I had a day at home to hug my dog, a day at home to pack, and we started classes.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Emry was like, "Yeah, when I get back, man, I'm gonna like take a break. I'm just gonna chill for a while."
I did say that. I
Remember that
said
one
that.
time?
I did say that, but
You gotta
I mean,
do
that's
what you
just the
gotta
story
do.
of my life. The calendar just fills up on its own, and then I try to keep up. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm waiting on summer camp chapter 2.
Yeah, is that a definite? You definitely gonna be going?
I'll be going. I'm just waiting on the phone call. So
Not
maybe
maybe instead of Gaza, it might be Lebanon.
both are likely, but
Yeah.
I have to kind of watch out what I say on the open internet.
Yeah.
Most of the
Nothing.
people watching here now, I know are awesome people and they're part of our family.
Yeah.
I have no trust issues with our people.
Right.
But considering this is a stays on the internet thing forever.
Yeah.
I'll so I'm happy to talk about all of it. And I'll have to stay away from some specifics. But and if guys, if people have questions, shoot them out, and I'll do my best to give good answers.
Yeah, guys, just do an @Emry, and if you got a question, directly for him. But I don't know how much you want to talk about this, or if you're tired of talking about this, whichever way you want to go. And we'll go whichever way you want.
Look,
if you want to talk about it for folks, you're awesome, and if you don't, that's awesome too, man. So
I am all about it.
cool.
The way I see it is, it's my duty to, when I'm here, it's my duty to try to help educate everybody here on what's going on. Because I want people to know, but also because truly, and you guys know, I'm not a dark clouds on the horizons person all the time, but they're here, and and it's something we have to address. And for some reason, it's okay for people to call for the eradication of Jews today, but it's not okay to actually say, hey, there's an enemy invading us. Wake the fuck up, America. Wake up,
Yep.
Western culture, because everything we love about our lives here is at stake, and we have to wake up and we have to take action. I'm not
Yep.
saying, get up and take your rifle and go into the street. That's not at all what I'm saying. But we have to be aware of what's going on. We have to look the facts in the face. And the facts are, whether we like it or not, we are in a religious war. We didn't declare it. It was declared upon us, and we refuse to listen. And I'm that guy. I will stand up and say it, because this is reality and we can't ignore it, right? We can't do what our government does now, excuse me, which is, tell lies and say everything's going great. And maybe if I say it enough, people will believe it. Maybe if I say it enough, it'll be true. Things are not great. Things are not great at all.
No, they're not.
So, this is the I hate to use things that are so overused, but in Jewish culture, especially in Israel, we always refer back to the Holocaust and say, look, so many of the Jews living in Europe, Eastern and Western, 1937, 1938, 1939, leading up to everything that happened, said, come on, this is Germany. There's no way that's going to happen. Yeah, some people hate us, blah, 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 but come on, a Holocaust? No, come on.
Yeah.
And 6 million people later, I think they got the point. And never again has become, it happened again, not on that scale. And we're not going to let it happen on that scale. That's why I'm helping to, I want to reach out to everybody and try to educate here. And that's why, one of the reasons why I'm more than happy and excited to get back and fight every chance I get.
Since you did just get back, dude, what was in general conversations in Israel, if the U.S. political shit was ever even discussed with anybody, what were their opinions of what the hell's happening over here right now?
First of all, the U.S. is discussed in every single conversation, because as I've said before on the podcast, even before I left, and other places, I would say that, and look, I have dual citizenship, right? I love America. That's why I live here. I don't live here because I ran away from something. I live here because I love this place. I've built my family here, which you guys are a big part of my family here. I'm talking about family by choice. Sue, not so much. No, Sue's actually part of the very inner core of my family. He's one of my very best friends.
Yes.
And Sue, by the way, knows very well what's going on. I love this place. And the reason I say that is because I'm about to say some horrible things about America today. Because America, on the governmental level, either doesn't understand what's going on or is playing the other side. They're either so stupid, I'm talking about the government, they're either so stupid that they are doing everything to make all of us lose this war, or they are playing for the other side. I'm not going to make any sort of grandiose statements. I don't know. But every move that our current administration is making is absolutely detrimental to the survival of Western civilization. Period. Every move they make is two-faced. Every move they make is based on winning an election or appeasing a few 100,000 people here or there or whatever, and they are going to be responsible. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Anthony Blinken and all those anti-American politicians are personally responsible. In part, they're not the only people, but they are personally responsible for making Hamas, enabling Iran, enabling Hezbollah, and they better change what they're doing for the benefit of the planet, of everybody in the world. So when you ask that question, Chris, I think, in Israel, there's also kind of like we have here, we have this big schism between the people, between our people. And here it's very political. In Israel, it's a very similar thing. The politics are a little different, but there's a big schism in the people, among the people. I think that's one of the big reasons why October 7th happened and why it happened at that time. Because I think all our enemies, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, which all of them are Iran, right? They are all Iran. They are all funded by Iran. They are all directed by Iran. All of them saw that there is so much strife and so much, such a huge social disconnect in Israel, right? All these, just everybody against everybody in Israel, both politically and socially. And I think that's why they started it, and that's why they started it in that timing. I think most of the people in Israel understand that. There are people who still, and there's some very smart people in Israel who still think that America is actually on our side. And again, when I say America, I'm talking about the government.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the majority of the people here understand a little more than, those groups of idiots rioting and protesting on college campuses. I hope most of our public is better educated and has a higher than room temperature IQ. I hope I'm right about that. But I will tell you this. So even the left in Israel, and there's a left and right, and there's, a bunch of different groups and all that. But I would say that even the people on the left in Israel now understand, the majority of them. And I've spoken to a lot of people who, for their entire lives, have been vehemently on the left wing of Israeli politics. I think most of them now understand that we can't make peace with the Palestinians. We cannot make peace with Iran. These are people who want nothing but the destruction of all the Jews and the destruction of Western civilization, period. I'm sure, this is a big topic, right? Most of these people, including, I'll give you an example, I won't name names or anything, but I have a family member who my entire life, this woman has been, her whole life too, but my entire life that I remember has been a super, pro-Arab activist. And I talked to her for the first time in many years a few months ago. And even she said, I understand now that we can't live next to these people because they won't allow it. They don't want to live next to us.
Yep.
Understand, we are not able, we as Western culture, we are not able to view the world through the lens, through the sunglasses of Muslim culture. Because if you look at it, right, think about America invading Iraq. We came in to install a democratic government there for the people, blah, blah, blah. They don't want it. What they want has nothing to do with what we want.
Nope.
Right. So, and this is reality. We have to take them at their word. When they say over and over, death to Israel, death to America, the Houthis, just as an example, it's part of their flag. Their actual flag says death to Israel, death to America, blah, 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 whatever.
Yep.
We can't ignore that. Oh, no, they just have, their way of, no, they say it, they mean it, and they're doing it. And we are going to fight back. We are fighting back. We're going to win this. Now, one of the problems with winning this war is if there is one Hamas terrorist at the end of this that is standing on a pile of rubble doing this, that's a victory for them. And the reason I say that is how we view winning a war is not how they view winning a war.
Mm-mm.
How they view winning this war is the most important part, because if the Arab or the Muslim world views this war as being won by their side, this will never end, ever, ever, ever. It will never end until all of us are dead. So, and I'm not here just, on a soapbox saying these things. Guys, this is reality. This is true. This is what's happening. Wake up, right? By the way, I know that everybody listening to this podcast right now understands this, right? Unfortunately, the people who are here listening to us, they're to get it, right? They may not know all the bits and pieces and all the background and blah, blah, blah. And I'm here to help to the best of my ability, explain that and give you guys everything I can. But you guys aren't the people we need to reach the most, right? We need to reach the people who think opposite of us here in America. So, that's kind of the short and skinny.
The problem is, though, you can't have a conversation with nobody, especially here in America, on the left anyway.
Right.
They won't even have a civil conversation with you. It's not like, all right, you've got your opinion and I respect it. I have my opinion, but you don't respect it. And we can't even discuss. Right. To them, it's, like I saw a video earlier on Twitter today that said, why can't we just start stabbing trans folks? They're like, we should be able to just stab these people and get rid of them. And that's where the discourse in this country is. And I know that in Israel, you guys have your own problems between civil society, the pro-Netanyahus, the anti-Netanyahus. And there's a lot of friction there in particular.
Right.
It's just civil society in general, in my opinion, is breaking down where you can't. And we're tribing up, everywhere you look, everybody's tribing up pretty much. And that's what this is going to come down to. So
by the way, what you just described, what culture does that remind you of?
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah. Same ones.
Mm-hmm.
Same ones.
Yep.
We just don't carry around little rugs. They do, But
yeah. Yeah.
But
so look, I think one of the big factors. One of the biggest factors that put us Israel in the situation we're in now is the fact that for many years we have been, the way we say it in Hebrews, we have been living under a conception, which really translated into English is misconception. We have been living under, all of us, under a misconception that if we reach out in peace, if we give land, if we give them something to lose, help them, give them money, give them building supplies, give them food, give them electricity, help them build things, that they will want to, I'm sure everybody here has heard, Gaza should have been the Singapore, they could have created Singapore. It's totally true. They don't want it, guys. That's not what they want. I'm sure there are some people there that might want it, but those CNN what do they call those? They did they put out this information that study that 71% of people in Gaza support Hamas and support the war. So think about this a second, and that's coming from CNN. So if 71%, let's just take it at face value for a second. If 71% of the population there truly wants that, first and foremost, you show me a society that agrees on anything. 71% of the population agrees on something, right? So if we take this at face value and say 71% of people want all the Jews wiped off the planet now, and this war is worth it, even though they've destroyed everything we have, guys, this is a disease. This is a disease. This thought is a disease. So, this guys, our problem is we're facing Islam. I'm going to straight up say it. I know I'm going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. This is the truth. Islam doesn't want us here, right? We want to be accepting. Read the book, guys. It's free to download on the internet. I urge you to read the books. You will understand. The entire goal of this thing is to get rid of us.
Yeah,
the
and
entire
when
goal of this thing is to take over.
and to what you're saying, it's not Israel's not their endpoint. They want the entire globe. Look at what's happening in the UK right now.
Yep.
This what Imri's saying is, they want to start with the Jewish people first. They want them gone, but their ultimate goal is the rest of the globe. That's what they want.
Right.
They want nothing but Muslims or slaves.
Now, I want to make it clear, right? Based on what I'm saying, are there Muslims that want peace on earth? Absolutely.
Yes.
I have no doubt. I know there are many, but they are not the majority, and they are not the people who are calling the shots, right? They are not the people who can call up Iran and say, hey, cut the shit out, right?
Yeah.
So, I think America can end this. This is why, again, I don't really want to get into politics, but there's no way around it, right? What is happening here in America politically is going to dictate how the world deals with this World War III situation we have going on. And what did I read the other day on the American news here, that there's Iranian and Russian cyber attacks because they want Trump to win, right? Guys, don't believe that shit. Don't believe it. You can't believe it, right? Think about it. In the same day, news articles have been coming out all over the planet saying that Iranians have been Donald Trump has been getting briefed on the fact that there are assassination attempts being plotted against him by Iran, right? And then in the same breath, they're saying that Iran is trying to get him elected. Really? What do you believe?
Yeah.
Do you truly believe that Kamala Harris would be so destructive to all our enemies? Do you truly believe that DEI is going to help our enemies understand that, oh, wait, maybe we want to be like America? Right?
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways, people.
No.
No,
and the sad thing too is all of those Muslims who do want peace on earth and goodwill towards men, who aren't of the jihadi mindset. When the push comes to shove, they're going to go with Team Islam immediately. They might be friendly and be your neighbors now, but when push comes to shove, to them you're just another infidel and you're not going to matter. And I hate to say that because I don't like to categorize entire groups of people under kind of one statement, but that one's pretty accurate.
Right.
Are there some that'll take the other side? Absolutely. But the majority of them will go with Team Islam.
Yeah.
So
yeah, look, it's education. It's cultural education over thousands of years, right? This is a sad state of affairs. But by the way, just a tiny little example, right? The two of the towns that got hit the hardest in Israel on October the 7th, right? Kibbutz Be'eri and Nachal Oz. They're two small towns, kibbutzim, right on the what we call the Gaza envelope, right? Kind of that little strip of towns right around the Gaza Strip on the Israeli side.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, or many of the people that live there, who have all been exterminated by these evil cockroach terrorists, many of those people, their life's work up until the day they were butchered and slaughtered was to bring people in from Gaza and drive them. They had little minivans and stuff, and they would drive them to work. They would drive them to their hospital visits and that kind of thing. Those are the first people who were butchered, raped, murdered, burned in their houses. Right, guys? You can't fight fire with butterflies. It doesn't work.
No, good intentions and kind words get you nowhere. Let's take a quick break, guys. I'm gonna roll our Fallout reel, that our new one, because we haven't played it here for you guys yet, I don't think. And then we're gonna come back. We might go a little bit long tonight. It depends how long you want to talk. I don't mean all night, just a little bit long. because I got some questions people
I'm here.
want to ask you and stuff in here. So we're going to do this. And Russ, I got it queued up. I'll hit it so we don't conflict because I was stepping all over his toes last night like a moron. But we're going to do this. We'll be right back. See? Hey, I want to give a quick big. Yeah, I just want to give a quick big shout out to Bear, Independent in the house tonight. We support everything that Bear does, and it's awesome to see him in the peanut gallery with everyone tonight because he has definitely got some wisdom to him. And if you don't follow Bear, I highly recommend you do so. So,
May I add, Bear? First of all, Bear is a brother. And I love Bear and the work that Bear does, guys. He is a true good doer. So if you don't follow Bear and if you don't, help him out, you're wrong.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed entirely. I'm gonna start putting up a couple questions and we'll work through some of these. And you guys are always welcome to pop in wherever too. Don't forget, ain't just us. But here we go. So Brian Horton asking, he wants to know kind of what your background is, so people have an idea who you are and where you come from.
Okay. Well, thanks for the question, brother. So, all right. So I was born and early on raised in Israel. Moved to the States with my parents when I was early on. I was 8 or 9. So I did my growing up kind of half and half. And after I finished high school, I went back and served in the military over there. I like to think I was in a pretty good unit, and I've been doing reserve duty ever since. In my active duty unit, now I'm in a bit of a different unit, and my last how long have I been doing this? My last like 8 or so years here in the States, I've been teaching shooting combatives, tactics, that kind of thing to civilians, law enforcement, military, mainly here in the States. I'm part now of my family, Tactical Riflemen, which Sue is a part of, and you guys, both T and Chris are a part of as well. And part of the TR family, and that's with my brother Carl, whose house I'm in right now. Some of the best people on this planet, and that's kind of the one sentence deal.
Cool. I like it.
So yeah, that's my deal.
Let's see here. This one you kind of covered earlier, but Patrick Seven is a great dude on YouTube. We chat back and forth, or not YouTube. Twitter, we chat back and forth a lot. He asked, what opinion on the likelihood of issues in the States? We kind of did cover it a little bit, but I asked this question from my bedroom 30 minutes before Dearbornistan. So,
Dearbornistan. Good one, Patrick.
I'm sorry, brother, because Michigan is such a beautiful place.
Shame.
Like right here. If you're from Michigan, you get this, but
the mitten.
Yeah. Look, I'm not in the business of making predictions about what's going to go on. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not even that smart. I have way too many TBIs, nor do I have a college degree. What I do have is experience in the Middle East. I have experience in some other parts of the world, both militarily and outside of the military. And I'm aware of what's going on, right? And I have friends all over the planet, and I talk to a lot of people. By the way, I don't only talk to people who share my opinions, right? I think it's much more important to be able to have conversations with people who you disagree with, because then you're getting smarter, right? If you only talk to people who you share your own opinions, where are we going?
Yeah.
So,
and that echo chamber doesn't work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we know he's a commie. I mean, it's he's redheaded. Even.
Obviously.
Like, Jesus, how much redder can you get? Look at him. Like Robert Redford with a suntan or a sunburn sitting there. Look at him.
Well, I have to say the sunburn on Sue this week is probably my fault because we had him out in the sun for.
Yeah, he was on the range.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I got to do some serious drinking because I'm listening to Emry's life story again every time. No, Emry and I had this conversation. We started this show, Emry, before he got on. We started with our conversation we had at lunch last Saturday and Sunday. But the American people just got to wake up. I mean, this has been going on forever, and a lot of people forgot. And they don't study their own recent history. John F. Kennedy was killed, in Dallas, but his brother was killed by a Palestinians who basically mad at America for supporting Israel. Sirhan. Then we had the 1976. Then we had the 1976 Olympics. The 1976 Olympics should have been a wake-up call to everybody. Not to mention all the planes that were being hijacked and stuff during the 70s. We saw a Navy corpsman get shot just because he happened to be riding on a plane, and he was an American. So this isn't just an Israeli problem. This is an American problem too. The Palestinian people hate America. So does Iran.
Yes.
The administration hates the United States. All right. Big kudos to the IDF or to the Israeli government. They killed Ibrahim Akil. I don't know if you guys know that Ibrahim Akil was one of the masterminds of the suicide bombing of the Marine barracks at the airport in Beirut in 1983. All right.
I remember.
There's been a
$7
million bounty on this guy's head for almost 40 years. What does that say about the American institutions if the CIA, FBI, and all these people can't get this one terrorist that's responsible for the killing of 251 Marines in 1983? Pretty incompetent. The next thing I got to say is people got to understand that the United Nations, the UN, needs to be kicked out of New York. The United Nations support everything radical Muslim, right?
Yep.
Not to mention that the World Health Organization under the United Nations basically lied about a global pandemic here recently. I won't get into that, but
and are planning the next one.
The PLO back in the mid '80s, the PLO, once they got kicked out of Israel, they basically they subverted and infiltrated into the United States' upper echelon of academia. That's Iranian funded. PLO college professors, if you will, are on every major university and college in the United States, and they've been pushing this crap down our kids' throats or down our college-educated kids' throats for years, right? And it's all coming home to rest, guys. And Emry mentioned that when we invaded Iraq, we tried to give them a democracy and everything. I think I've already said this before, but I was there. I had to deal with a bunch of suicide bombing in Baghdad. None of those suicide bombers, not one that I knew of anyway, were Iraqi. All of them came from outside sources, either from Lebanon or from Gaza and the West Bank, from Palestinians. Most of them were Palestinians that blew themselves up. And think about how sick that is. If you're a parent and you have 4 children and you pick one of those children and say, someday you're going to be a martyr. Someday we're going to strap a bomb to your chest and you're going to blow yourself up for the family. What kind of culture does that? It's absolutely sick. And people got to face the truth for what it is. That's the truth. And the Democrats have been supporting or been turning a blind eye to this stuff Carter messed up the whole hostage situation with the Iranians when the Shah was kicked out. We know, we've all heard about that. But let me remind you that the Clintons backed the Bosnians in Bosnia. They backed the Muslims in Bosnia on the Dayton
Yes,
Peace
they
Accord.
did.
Mogadishu, remember Somalia is a Muslim country. Mogadishu was Clinton's fault. Clinton pulled out the AC-130s and let those warlords run rampant over there. And then just to giving America a black eye, the Americans left in Somalia. And then we had to go back in there later. So if you people are tired of this, all you got to do is point to the Democrat Party. And I'm telling you, they back anything that's against the Constitution. They will lie, cheat, and steal, and they don't have your back. And that open border thing, I'm not even going to get started on that. I'll let Emry address that, because he knows. We both know that there's sleeper cells all over the United States, and many of them are from a certain religion. Did
you guys hear about that weapons cache that was just found north of the border with RPGs and AKs and all that shit in it?
Here, this border,
domestically.
I've been in classes, so I'm out of the loop.
A couple years ago, I was telling people about a report of another incident, which is memory holds. You really can't find any information about it whatsoever. But there was a substantial weapons cache found south of the border in Mexico, just south of the border. And there was so much ordnance in this cave where the stuff was being stored that they said it was too much to move, and they had to blow it in place. There was that much, and it was all Chinese. AKs, PKMs.
I figured it was going to be stamped U.S. from the stuff that was left.
Fast and Furious. Yeah. Thank you, Afghanistan via America, or America via Afghanistan.
Appreciate it. Whatever they carted across the border from that. Good grief.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on any of this, and I've been saying this whole time too, is Emry's got a whole lot, tons more on the inside of what's going on over there. But, with these open borders, with everything that's come across these borders, guys, Emry is 110% right. Wake up, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when at this point. I mean, we've got some craziness going on in the United States of America, and there is people here right now that are already taking over apartment complexes and everything else. I mean, it's happening. They're set up. It's going to happen, and everybody's going to have to wake up, or we're going to be in the same place as we are over here in Israel. It's not good.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Off subject just a little bit, but did you guys see that the ports on the East Coast have gone on strike over?
Oh, hold on. Not yet. The ports, especially Mobile and Houston, I think, are the ones that are the biggest concerns at the moment. They will strike on October 1st. The ports that are going to go on strike bring in 51% of everything that comes into this country. And those longshoremen will strike on October 1st because what they're saying is they fear automation. They don't want automation to replace them.
Yes.
And they want a 75% pay increase. They already make north of $40 an hour, and they want a 75% pay increase. Yep. And I watched a video from a trucker who was talking about the port. He goes, the delays are already so bad because these guys deliberately drag their feet and take forever to get us in and out of the ports. They're like, we'll sit there for hours and hours waiting. So that's more of that Democrat kind of shit. I feel for the longshoremen, wanting a raise. Got it. Yeah. But I think this is more of a political move that's going to be done leading up to the election.
I agree.
I agree.
And that's what I was going with. Yeah, that's what I was going with. I mean, this just adds another layer of shit that we have to look forward to, because the supply chain issues, a lot of that stemmed from the port. That was when that was going on. They sent everybody home. There was skeleton crew. There's hardly anybody working, and that's where you started getting these huge detentions. Just people, truckers sitting there for days on end, trying to get a load to haul in intermodal freight. And there's another great example of a bad time that we're going to see as this year progresses due to that right there. If that happens, which I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Oh, they're going to strike. they're gonna strike for sure because they're not coming to any kind of an agreement when you
I
want a
agree with that.
75% raise. You know.
Yeah.
If you guys don't think October 7th was brutal in Israel last year, wait until they pull it here in almost every state. Almost every state they're prepared for. I'm guaranteed we're going to see it. We're going to see an October 7th like scenario right here in the United States.
I was going to actually ask you guys. It's September 25th right now. October 7th is what, 2 weeks away. So it'll be the first anniversary of this conflict over there. And what do you guys expect on that day? Let's go around the horn. T, we'll start with you. What do you think might happen this October 7th?
I've been thinking it was something was gonna happen all year long. I mean, it's just been. I'm surprised. The more so, I'm surprised nothing has happened yet. I don't see how it has not, and the only reason that it has not, in my opinion, is the current administration is the one pulling the strings, and they haven't let it happen.
All right. What about you, Sue? What do you think, man?
I think T hit on a key note that it would be political ramifications for it, but we've already heard Putin, we've already heard the British, primarily the mayor of London, who happens to be a Muslim. We've already heard that they don't want Trump back, right? So we might not see a whole lot this October 7th, but I don't think they control all these sleeper cells. I think we might see either something on October 7th just to pretty much remind people who the Palestinians are, especially the terrorist cells, because they copied it on September 11th in Benghazi. So we might see something on October 7th.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they will do something to celebrate the anniversary. All right, Emry, since you were over there dealing with what happened after October 7th, what's your opinion, man?
If I had to guess, I don't think there's going to be some big massacre or whatever this October 7th. I think there's definitely going to be celebrations of horrible people celebrating massacres. And it doesn't even matter who got massacred, right?
Right, yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to be happy and celebrate it as a holiday. As far as what you said, T, I agree with most of what you said, except horrible things have been happening since last October 7th, right? We're just so drowned in things happening every day that it's, oh, okay, here's another thing. You read the headline, you move on. You read the headline, you move on. I think
people are getting numb to it. People are getting numb to it. That there's some.
I agree with that.
Catastrophe, calamity.
You're right.
There's always something happening.
Look, excuse me, guys. I'm scratchy from yelling at the range all day. There are so many things happening in Israel every day. None of it gets reported here because our people here who are living their lives they're sick of hearing it, right? So, plus of course there's your mainstream media, blah, 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 that really reports what they feel like. Look, there are 3 to 5 terrorist attacks inside of Israel every single week. Every single week. There are 30 to 50 rockets every day coming in from Lebanon. A lot less now from Gaza because we're,
a lot less out of Lebanon now too, after what you guys did in southern Lebanon the other day. I mean,
but that's the thing. It's not a lot less out of Lebanon.
Really?
I will address the Lebanon thing. Yeah, because look, Hamas is our weakest enemy. Of all the enemies that Israel has right now, Hamas is the weakest. And look, it's been over a year, or just about a year, and we haven't definitively, destroyed them. So, just 2 weeks ago, I was sitting at the house of one of my best friends in Israel up north in the Galilee, in the upper Galilee. And we're sitting there. It's a beautiful kibbutz, beautiful area. I mean, the north of Israel is just so gorgeous. And we're sitting there, he's got 5 kids. And he and his wife, he was my boss when I lived on the ranch up north raising cattle in the Galilee. So, and we're sitting there in the backyard. He goes, hey, look, you see, our buddy's house over there? You see all the black, burned area? Yeah, the rocket hit there yesterday. And then, over there's another one that fell, blah, blah, blah. And they're 30 to 50 rockets. Imagine if you're sitting in, Springfield, Illinois, whatever, name your place, nice little place, having a barbecue in the backyard or sitting there with your kids. And every day, sirens go off, or sometimes sirens don't even go off. And 10 to 15 rockets hit within a couple miles of your house. Can you even imagine? Right? People, I think, have a hard time really identifying with what that feels like. This morning, 2 UAVs hit one of our ports in the southern city of Eilat. A couple of people got injured. Last night, I got back from the range. We had a night shoot, went to sleep late. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. Last night at like 1 or 1:30, my alarm goes off on my phone. I have alarms set for certain regions of Israel where when the sirens go off because of UAVs or missiles or rocket attacks or whatever, I get those alarms. Well, I forgot to turn off the notification, so siren goes off in my ear at 1:30 a.m. last night. It may have been a little bit early. I think it was like maybe 6:30 or 7:30 a.m. Israel time. A bunch of rockets flew over into Tel Aviv, and a ground-to-ground missile. These are things that are happening every day. We hear about the once in a while when Iran sent 300 ballistic missiles. Those are the things we hear. Guys, this is our reality every day. People are asking me why I go over to fight. This is my home. This is an existential war. I am there to kill our enemy, period. I am there, to help my family survive. I'm there to help my people, even whether I know them or not, survive. Understand this is the situation. It's just not being read on the news here every day because people don't care to hear it or people don't care to tell the story. I wish there was a way for me, and I'm not some orator, right? I'm not a great speaker or whatever. There are people like Douglas Murray who, that man needs a hug and a medal for what he's doing. He's not even Jewish. I urge you, Douglas Murray, please go look him up because if you want to understand more, if you want a deeper understanding of kind of the subcontext of everything, please go listen to him. He's tremendous.
Shit, didn't mean to do that, y'all. Hang on, that was a mistake.
Whoops.
Jesus. We lost Emry for a second. It popped me up there. He'll be back, probably. It's just internet fluctuations.
Yep.
That or the Iranians found him. There he is. The Iranians didn't find him.
No, they didn't find him.
You know what? The Iranians are welcome. I'll put on a cup of coffee and then we can do whatever you guys want to do. Come on down, guys. We're ready. My gang will beat the shit out of your gang.
My gang will beat shit. Shirts and skins, damn it. Let's do this. Let's go.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, it's a tough situation. Look, here's excuse me. Here's what really kind of pinches me when I'm home, and I haven't been home on a social level, home in Israel, in like 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. I haven't seen most of my family in that amount of time, right? So nice to be able to see all my friends. It's very dark over there. People are having a hard time. People have been living under this threat. People have been having rockets fired at schools and apartment buildings and homes.
Car bombs
for a year.
Car bombs
for
just
a
had
long.
A car bomb the other day. Yeah.
There's all kinds of unimaginable. It's horrible. And what what I'm praying for is that the people living in Israel, forget the army, forget the government a minute. The people need to stay strong. Our people need to not give up. Our people need to always have the will to fight and win, period. Because this isn't exactly the first time in history that, that much bigger societies than us have tried to wipe us off the map.
Yeah.
We're going to survive. We're going to survive this. We're going to win this. And Israel will go on. But I am seeing a lot of people reaching a breaking point. And that cannot happen, because especially right now, we are in what's called 5th generation war. This is the first war of its kind. And it's a global war, guys. Rest assured. The fact that other militaries, blah, 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 have not joined in, this is 5th generation war. And what really sets this war aside from the previous generations of warfare is the use of the other side's civilian population as a tool of war. What I mean by that, a lot of people will say, well, yeah, but civilians die in every war. Absolutely correct, right? World War II, many cities were bombed and tons of civilians died. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the use of the internet, the use of AI, those kinds of tools to subvert and to break the will of your civilian population, of your enemy, which I have to say that the Arabs have been doing quite successfully or quite well. And so we can't allow that to happen. And I feel, the fact that I feel very guilty about not being able to be there immediately after the 7th. And that was because of an injury, whatever, different story. Nobody needs my sob story, but I was a few months late getting there. And it's horrible. And I just hope, I hope that when I get there, it's kind of like a second wind, at least to the people around me. The team I'm serving on right now, they were literally in, and it's a reserve team. These are not full-time professional soldiers. They're excellent soldiers, but they are a reserve team. These people have businesses, they have little children, families, blah, 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 right? They have jobs that they have not been at for 11 months. And, and this is a very different thing. We don't have a professional army that is huge, right? We have the People's Army, and, and we have balls, and we have, a huge will to fight and to win. Alongside of that, I will tell you that we absolutely are by far, the most humane and how do I say this? Our military is not a bunch of killers. It's not a bunch of people who will go in and shoot a kid or do horrible things to people, right? It is a very ethical fighting force, and I want people to know that. You don't have to take my word for it.
It's easy to prove that, because I watched one of your generals today on Twitter telling the people of southern Lebanon not to go home yet. He's like, for your own safety, do not return to your homes. Our operations are not over. And that was to the people of Lebanon. He wasn't talking to Israelis. He was talking to the Lebanese people, saying, we're getting ready to conduct operations in this area, and you should leave. And when Israel tells people that, they take it to heart, because they know they fucking mean it. What do you think of that question up there from Brian, where he's asking, is there any place in Israel where people can live peacefully, where they don't have to worry about rockets? And I don't really think there is there?
Look, good question. First, I'll start by saying that Israel is tiny, geographically tiny.
Very much so.
They say it's about the size of Rhode Island. I don't know exactly how accurate it is, but it's not far, for sure. Yes, there are places that are not as affected every day. Tel Aviv is obviously a huge target, but it's harder to reach for a lot of the tools they have.
And that Iron Dome is a bad son of a bitch. So,
The Iron Dome, yes, but it's also a limiting factor in other ways. I won't get into it too much because I don't.
No, I know.
This is on the internet.
I get it.
Yeah. Look, here's something I want to share that will maybe shed a little bit of light on your question, Brian. So, my biological father and his wife, they live in the town where I grew up. Still. It's a little town in the south of Israel, and technically speaking, it's one of those places that doesn't get hit by rockets and all of that. But it is surrounded by Bedouin villages. Okay. Every day that I spent at my parents' house, every day, you sit in the backyard, drinking our coffee, hanging out. Oh, I miss you. I love you guys. It's been so long, blah, blah, blah. And from 3 different directions, you hear the muazzin, the call to prayer, right? From 3 different directions. And they point their speakers at our towns, blaring. And every night, fully automatic fire, right? AKs in the air and whatever they're shooting at. They're not shooting each other, whether it's weddings or whether it's just doing that to for us. So we sit there in our quiet, peaceful little town hearing automatic gunfire every day. This is before October 7th, too. Every day. Here we have noise ordinances, right? There, it's just a thing. And we have to be okay with it. Our government doesn't do anything about it, right? Every day. So just to give you an example, no, there aren't, yes, there are places that aren't getting hit by rockets every day. No, there are not places that are insulated from what's going on. There really aren't. It's a small country. As divided as our people may be right now, especially because of this war, I think it really has brought a lot of people together. Whether you agree or not, this is a fight for our survival. And so, it's a difficult, shitty situation. And unfortunately, there is no absolute winning. We cannot actually win this war. What we can do is effectively return to a status quo of quiet based on fear from the other side. If we really turn up the fire, such as what has started to happen this week with the pagers and the walkie-talkies and the excuse me, guys, and the over 2,000 terrorist targets that we have struck since the beeper and walkie-talkie thing in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
But really, fighting Hamas and fighting Hezbollah is also not solving it, right? That's what we need to do right now. What we need to do, to really squash this, and that has to be done not just by Israel. This has to be done by America. This has to be done by a coalition of Western countries, is completely disintegrate the Ayatollah leadership in Iran. Iran has to be dealt with, because not only has the American government been giving them infinite money, but the American government and the UN, the criminal Nazi UN, has enabled Iran to be incredibly wealthy. So, I mean, do you guys know, for example, that Iran actually has a drone manufacturing facility on Russian soil now, right? Do you know that
making shaheeds,
91%, that 91% of China's oil that they use comes from Iran? 91% of China's oil. Think of the immense quantities. So this is how Iran is able to fund global terrorism. Of course, they're not the only ones. Qatar is doing it too. Many other groups are doing it. But Iran really is kind of the leader of global terrorism as we see it today. And this has to be dealt with. Not all Iranian people are bad, right? There's a lot of strife inside of Iran. Iran up until the Iranian Revolution, 1979, Iran and Israel were friends.
Yeah.
We were friends, for
Yep.
Christ's sake, right? And then, of course, the Islamist regime took over in 79, and it's become this hotbed of terror and just disgusting, human, filth, coming from their government ever since. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Iranian people. I'm talking about Iran as a terror state.
As a state. Yep. Well,
So,
a couple of people have asked, and I got it up on the screen now because it's been asked more than once. People are asking, what can they do to help? Is there anything they can do to help right now?
you know what? Yeah, there are two things we can do. First of all, we need to become America again, right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound like a Trump thing, right? But we need to become an American people again, right? We need to wake up. We need to understand what's going on in the world. We need to educate ourselves, not via TikTok. That's one. And we need to vote. We need to vote people into government here and demand of the government to be a government for its people and not for its own interests. Our Constitution is not in place for politicians to get rich. The whole point of this country is for the people. It's a republic, right? You guys know this. I'm preaching to the choir. We need to fix that. Second, we need to understand and demand of our government that so all these people that are what we call isolationists now, and those are like the people on the right side of the right, as in political right side of the conversation here in America, who say, hey, we need to, America first. I agree, by the way. I agree, America first. But that doesn't mean that don't help Ukraine. That doesn't mean don't help Israel, let them deal with it. That doesn't mean, just get out of everything globally. Understand the whole reason why we have been since the 70s and 80s and or earlier than that, really. The whole reason why we have been able to have this beautiful, affluent society and economy that we've had, with its ups and downs, sure, is because of being the global police. It's because of our involvement with other places on the planet. And so if you truly believe, and I like different views, right? But if you truly believe that America needs to butt out of everything on the planet, then you should also truly believe that our standard of life should go back to the proverbial horse and carriage, which I have no problem with. But understand those two things go together. They're inseparable. And in addition to that, of course, if you believe in human rights, what you should be believing in is ending Islamism. I'm not saying Islam, I'm saying Islamism. So what we need to do is we need to fix our government here, and we need to do that now, not tomorrow.
Agreed.
We need to do that now. We need to stand up and make our voices heard. We need to educate ourselves. As far as helping in Israel, I am not one of those people that's going to say, oh, you should send money to this or you should send gear to this. I don't like that. I don't agree with that. I think there are many ways that you can help. First of all, be a vocal supporter. Be a vocal supporter. It's okay. It's not okay for the other side to have the voice and for us to be afraid to say the right thing for the good of humanity, right? One.
I had a very good friend of mine. Sorry to interrupt you, but I had a very good friend of mine over at the house just the other night, a couple nights ago. I love this dude to death, but we disagree on the Israel issue. He thinks Israel is wrong in this one, and I know that they're right in this one. But we're still friends, and we had a civil conversation about it because we're both of the same mindset. We just have a different opinion on this one topic. And so go ahead and finish with the second thing. Sorry.
So, yeah, look, I have friends who disagree with me on stuff like this. Great. I have no problem with that. On the contrary, I support it, right? If we didn't have a left and a right, we'd have a dictatorship, right? And we wouldn't advance.
Yeah.
As far as supporting Israel on a physical level, there are quite a few things you can do. If you are one of those people who is able-bodied, I'm not talking about an athlete. If you want to physically go support, look, there are still tons and tons of people in reserve duty fighting every day. What that means is that their crops are sitting there rotting. It means, there are so many businesses and things like that that need help. And there are, I don't know the names, but there are many organizations that you will find through a quick Google search where you can come over and help, pick oranges, and you can help with stuff like that. Those are things that I think are, you're doing what we call a mitzvah, right? You're doing a good deed. And I think Israelis on a personal level need to feel that not the whole world hates them. That is critically important. Like I said before, so many people are reaching a breaking point, right? Not everybody is a warfighter. Not everybody is built, like Sue. Not everybody's built like Sue, who's like, "No, I don't care. I'll go win anyway," right? And really, people, I think, would find so much value and peace in knowing that, yes, there are a lot of people who still, support the side of good. So that's kind of my long-winded answer to that question.
Well, there's a segue into this next one. This will be the last question we cover because we're running a little long. I know Emry's probably tired. He's been on the range all day, but awesome to have you back, man. But here's the last one that was asked of me, but I'm going to point this at all of you guys. Have you heard any rumblings about the election not even taking place because something is coming? And yeah, there's lots of rumors out there, guys, and you can't chase the rumor mill down. You'll just wear yourself out. Is it possible? Abso-fucking-lutely, it's possible. Anything in this particular election, I say anything is possible. So have I heard some things? I've heard a few things, but I'm not going to comment on them right now because I don't have any way to verify any of that information just yet. But I will tell you guys this. I'll add this to that topic. The IMF came out today and said, or yesterday it said that the global economy is heading into the worst territory in history. They're expecting a global recession. In some places, it'll be depression level, but the entire globe is going into recession. And there's a lot of parts to that, but which we can cover another time. And I do cover with you guys about Russia and China and their economies and what's going on in Brazil and the BRICS and that stuff. Shit, we talk about a lot, but anything is possible right now. So yes, be prepared. And I'll open that up to you guys what you think about that.
Well, I'll start in by just saying I have no clue.
Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. So they're terrified of Trump. They tried to kill him twice now. I don't think that's the last attempt. I think there's more to come until they succeed. The fact that they named a Haitian prosecutor to the last assassination attempt is rather telling. That's the administration giving him the finger by appointing a Haitian prosecutor to that case. Not that I have anything against this Haitian prosecutor, but they're sending a message. So, anything is possible. I saw another clip today of, I can't remember her name. It's the rep for the U.S. Virgin Islands was talking about how the DOJ, how Trump wants to dismantle the DOJ and the FBI, but that they need to be kept in place for misinformation and disinformation and conspiracy theorists. That's why we need to keep those checks and balances in place, is to control speech. And that's terrifying. If you just simply listen to what the people that are currently in these positions are telling you, they're kind of giving you their dream version of the future of what they would like it to look like. And it's 1984 on steroids. It is a dystopian life that they are looking to push everybody into. Now, you may not think it'll look like one because you still may have the appearance of freedom to travel and do things and whatever. But it's going to be dystopian. China level censorship, China level surveillance, that sort of thing is what they want. So it's terrifying. I believe they will do anything to stop Trump from becoming president, or at least taking office. I think they'll do anything to prevent that. Literally anything. So that's my opinion. What do you think, T?
I think it was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Emry. You're the man of the hour. You ain't been here forever.
Hell yeah.
You got plenty to say.
It's been
Run that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I just got off my train of thought, but I think it was Dennis Prager who I heard say a few weeks ago that, and don't quote me on that because I can't remember exactly who it was, but they were saying, hey, look, if people on the other side of the political spectrum see Trump as a Hitler, as they have so freely called him so many times. And by the way, I'll say again, I'm not a huge Trump fan. I'm not. I will say I'm absolutely voting for Trump because it's the only way I see out of this. We can get into that some other time. But if they truly think he is a Hitler type, right, put yourself in the position of being a German voter in 1938, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you truly see this Hitler guy for what he is, don't you think it's your duty out of necessity to do everything and anything in your power to make sure this person doesn't get elected? So the problem is that Trump is not Hitler. The problem is that Trump is, I don't think, all of the bad. I don't think he's such a wonderful guy, but he's definitely not all the horrible things they're saying about him.
Agreed.
And I think that in itself is all the evidence we need to understand what is going on here. These assassination attempts, any professional in our profession, right? Sue and myself and like the combat stuff who look at a situation tactically. And of course, you guys too. I mean, you have tons of experience just because you didn't live a life of fighting wars, whatever, right? I mean, you get it. You look at these things and you go, none of this adds up. None of this makes sense. Some 20-year-old kid doesn't just get past all the Secret Service, right? So, I think you're right, Chris. I mean, there's obviously some push to some directed dystopian kind of situation, some Chinese Communist Party type of situation here in America.
Well, but it's not just here; it's global too. That's the thing. This push,
yes,
right now. You look at the UK. Look at what Turkey's doing. You look at what they, when they snatched up some Marines off the street, in Turkey a couple weeks ago. We've got Libya going into civil war again. You look at the state of China, the current state of Russia, who are both. I don't think the average person realizes the level of desperation in both of those countries at the moment. Russia and China are both in extreme trouble at the moment. By next year, Russia probably will not have tanks. They'll have no more stored tanks. Their surplus inventory will be liquidated by next year. Their arsenals are being emptied out left and right, and Ukraine has now started striking those arsenals as well. They hit one the other day in Tveresk or something
massive.
Like that. 30,000 tons of ordnance went up at one time. It looked like a small nuclear blast, registered 2.8.
That's the one everybody thought was a nuke. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was big.
That was a huge one. And then it hit two more arsenals on the same day. Russia has a total of 20 of those arsenals. 12 of them are within Ukraine's range with their new jet propulsion drone that they have. So they're going to continue doing that. And I just don't think folks get it. Germany just said they are now deporting all Afghans. When they find them, they're kicking them out. They're not letting any more in. So Europe is starting to wake up to what we were talking about earlier about the Islam problem. So this whole thing is global, and it's not just here. Is there a dark force behind it? I honestly believe that there is, and in my personal opinion, I'll say I think the CIA runs all this shit. I think they're the ones behind all of it, personally. I think they're the ones that coordinate and make all these things happen. Because that's the worst thing that's ever happened to this planet was the formation of the Central Intelligence Agency. I'm not afraid to say it. But I think anything's possible leading up to the election. I would recommend everybody stay ready, and keep your head up, head on a swivel, eyes up, that sort of thing. And I don't want to keep everything too much longer. Yeah, keep your powder dry. Yeah, scour your hatchets, boys. It's that time. So, T, what do you got, man? What do you want to leave everybody with tonight, man?
Well, great to have Emry back. Love you, brother. Glad to have you. And we'll have to catch up again here soon. You guys pretty much said it all. I will say I agree with Emry 100%. I've never been a Trump fanboy. All right. I think he's the best what we have offered. So I will vote for him. But am I 100% yay Trump? Not even close. Not even close. All these things that Emry's talking about that's going on in Israel, these horrible things that go on here in America, we're milk fed and we think that it just can never happen. We watch it on the news. We are, just like Emry said, we've been desensitized. It doesn't affect us anymore. We see it, whatever, flip over to Netflix. I can't give everybody a perfect example of what your preparedness should be. It's up to you to decide what that is. We throw stuff out there all the time on my live, on this live, of Carl and Tactical Rifleman, all the stuff that give you all these tidbits of how to prepare for bad times. Whatever that preparedness level looks like to you, if you have not already done so, you really need to crunch down on that, because I fear that we are all looking to a future that will mock what we see in these other countries. And that's it. You guys don't be scared, vote for Trump or don't. I mean, whatever, but you need to do something. And if it's just cleaning up your own doorstep and preparing for bad times, I'd say this is probably a good time to dig in. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Agreed, 100%. What do you think, Sue?
Again, I kind of caveat, I'm not a Trump fan because he was raised, a millionaire, and then he became a billionaire and things like that. Remember, he was friends with the Democrats and Republicans years ago. I didn't agree with him years ago, but and he marries supermodels, so I'm jealous of him. I can't stand that thought. But I do agree with Trump's policies, and I'm going to tell you, even if Trump does win the next election, and even if he gets a full 4 years, it's not long enough. I want to tell everybody, start preparing now to stop living in this indentured servitude that we call the United States of America. I mean, from the Department of Education to insurance companies to the regulation on the economy and the Green New Deal, we have given up a lot of freedoms. People need to start standing up. Kamala Harris said it while we were on this podcast in her live interview, that the American dream is dead. She's right, because we gave it up. Our generation gave away the American dream for materialism. All right. We need to go back to our government because it's a republic. It's supposed to be we the people that control the government, and we need to deregulate just about everything and go back to the base constitution and give our children and grandchildren the chance to enjoy the freedoms that we once had and we once saw when we were kids. That's all I got on that.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
What else you got there, Emry? Close them out with.
I think I've run my suck enough today.
All right, if you're good.
Enough. You know my opinions.
Yeah, we do. Guys, we're not black pill here. We do like to try to keep you guys informed. And we always like to try to give you takeaways and actionable things to do. And those, they generally are the same thing. Keep doing the things you're doing. Keep preparing yourself for what may come. But also remember to take the time to live for today, all right? The people in Israel since October 7th of last year have not been living their normal lives. And they don't look like they did on October 6th. That's a prime example of why we want to be prepared and why we want to like I said, enjoy our lives while they're enjoyable, because there is a time, I believe, fast approaching where it's not going to be quite as enjoyable. We're already starting to see the manifestation of the policies of the current administration. They're on their way out the door, which is odd that they're all kind of coming to fruition as there's a new election. But everything that Biden and Camel Toe did for the last 3.5 years is manifesting itself now. Timing, I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences, though. I'll put it that way. But keep doing the things you're doing. Enjoy your family. Spend time with your friends. Keep your eyes open and stay aware. Be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, and be ready for bad things to happen at any moment, anywhere. Leave that at that. All right. Because the rest of the world is in turmoil, and the U.S. is usually lagging that by a little bit. We usually ride those waves out a little bit longer than anybody else before they hit us. But it's the waves coming right at our face right now, guys. We're looking at it, and we're going to be kind of living what the rest of the world is living at the moment. So stay safe out there. I want to say a huge thanks to Russ for what he does in the background. He is always there working, and you get better, brother, and we'll still be here for you. And Emry, we are so glad that you're home, man. I worry about you. Well, you're always on my mind, and I was kind of always worrying for you, but I never worried about you.
Oh, you stop it. Stop it some more. Come on.
Well, I knew you were where you wanted to be, but more to that point, I knew you were where you needed to be. And so I wasn't worried. So, but we're glad you're back.
I appreciate you. I love you guys. I'm so happy to be back for a little while at least. And yeah, let's keep moving forward. Don't stop fighting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, ain't dead, can't quit, as the great Alan Kay says. And on that note, guys, you know the drill. Be good at it. We'll catch you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.